We also, in that area of seed germination, and we'll talk about really shortcut turf as well. We're talking about tee blocks, golf greens, grass tennis courts, lawn bowling areas where they are cutting the grass down to 1/8 of an inch or even sometimes shorter. Now we have a situation where we have rapid evaporation off the surface, extremely rapid evaporation, because now that you're actually seeing the ground surface below the leaves. You're cutting it so short that we're getting surface evap coming off of there as well as transpiration off those leaves. And also, you know, when we keep the grass cut very short, what happens to the rooting depth? It's not very deep, is it? You know, effective rooting depth on a golf green where you have it. Now, it's true, roots go down deeper than this deep, but you're going to really working in that top 3 or 4 inches is where you're living on a golf green. So you got to keep that area moist, otherwise you're going to have some big trouble on a golf green, particularly if you're growing Poa annua, because it's really susceptible to heat and stress during the heat occurrences. Bent grass isn't quite so bad, but still what happens is we start drying out the top layer of the ground. Now, where's most of the moisture being extracted by the plant? The top quarter, right? And if we only got a 4-inch rooting depth, 40% of the water is coming from the first inch, another 30% from the second inch, so it's 70% of the water that grass is pulling is in the top 2 inches. Well, how long does it take on a 105 to 110 degree day with less than 10% humidity to dry out that first couple inches? Well, it takes about till 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So you better be out there hitting it with a pass of water. And we call that a syringe cycle in the golf course trade. And so whether it's done by automatic control or if you go out and hand water and have to go out there with the hose and nozzle and spray, you're going to have to get out there and hand water those greens by mid-afternoon, otherwise they're going to go into some severe shock.
So by syringing it just keeps burning up?
Syringing means they simply go out and put maybe 2 or 3 minutes of water on the surface, just enough so that it gives evaporation, water for evaporation, so that it can cool that surface down. Sure, we're not trying to put the water back into the profile necessarily. We're making sure there's going to be enough surface water to continue the evaporative process until that evening. And then that evening we'll replenish the water that's been consumed by the plant during the day. So it's just a very short cycle, just a couple of 3 minutes. Now, if we're doing this with an automated system, on a golf course it's really set up good. You know, you'll kick on 3 or 4 heads, simultaneously come on, run them for 3 minutes, and shut them down, and you're done. About 2 in the afternoon or 2:30, and away you go. Now, there are some areas of the country where it even gets worse than that, and they got to do it a couple of times during the afternoon. They might have to catch it about 1 o'clock and again about 4. Now, we're talking about the peak of the longest days of the year here. So we're looking in late June through July is when this is going to be a real necessity, and during the hottest temperature times. So you put long days and hot temperatures together, you get a long exposure to a lot of radiant energy. And so you're having to compensate for the losses of all of the moisture in that top couple of inches by coming in and helping it out a little bit, giving it a little pick-me-up, kind of an afternoon beverage, you might say. You know, it gets awful thirsty out there, so it needs a little drink.